सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om Tat Sat. Om Namah Shivaya. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Acharya.
So we'll continue from where we left off. I think we had completed chapter 2, Karika number 8.
Okay, I can ask you. We can ask them.
Hello? Yes, June?
Sorry, Acharya.
Yeah, okay,
He's
fine.
just talking
All
to
right.
someone.
So we'll start from Karika number 9. Let us please unmute yourself. Let us chant. Swapna pravrittavapi
Swapnavrittavapi patantah
चेतसा कल्पितं तसपसत्
chetasa kalpitam tvasat
बहिश्चेतो गृहीतं सत्
bahishveto grihitam sad
दृष्टं वैथत्यमेतयोः
drishtam vaitathyametayoho.
So let us look at the words swapna pravritta api. In the swapna avastha itself, in the dream state itself, the word tvantaha has to be broken up into two plus antaha, and the antaha has to be joined with chetasa. So it is tu anta chetasa kalpitam. So anta chetasa is equal to anta karanam. Chetasa here is the mind itself. So anta chetasa kalpitam. That which is projected by the anta karanam. That which is projected by the mind. What is that? Tu asat. That again, the last one also, tvasat is tu asat. Asat here is mithya asat. And therefore, in the swapna avastha itself, whatever is projected by the antakaranam, by the mind, is taken as asat, mithya. While bahishcheto grahitam sat. Bahish means outside the mind. Cheto grahitam, whatever is grasped by the consciousness outside the mind, sat, that is taken as satyam. Okay. Then sat drishtam vaitatyam etayoho. On waking up, both what is projected by the mind and what is projected outside the mind. Now you are very careful about this. Outside the mind in the swapna avastha. Okay. So easy to understand this as outside the mind in Jagrad avastha. But remember, swapna pravrittapi is the overriding factor. In the swapna avastha, there are two things. Anta chetasa kalpitam. Whatever is projected within the mind, that is mithya. And bahishcheto grahitam, what is taken as the jagrat avastha or not jagrat avastha, as the external world in the dream, that is taken as satyam. But when you get up, both are seen as mithya. Do you follow? In the dream, there are two things. Right? We are talking about the dream because we are saying swapna avastha. There are two things in the dream, in the dreamer's mind. There are two things. Okay. So, what is the process? The waker projects the dreamer, right? You project the dreamer, the dream you, and the dream, which dream you, that dream you is in the dream world. And in the dream mind of the dream you, there are two things. There is an internal world in the dreamer's mind, and there is a objective external world, Jagrat Prapancha. But this Jagrat Prapancha is as seen by the dreamer through his dream sense organs. Am I clear? The dreamer has an internal world and an external world in the dream. I hope that's clear. There is a objective external world being projected by the dreamer in his dream. And for him also, there is a internal subjective world. Just as in Jagrata Avastha, you have two things. You have an internal thoughts and you have the external thoughts, which is the external world. And therefore, for the dreamer, just as for the waker, there is an objective world and there is a subjective world. The dreamer, and we are saying here that the dreamer's subjective world is mithya, but the dreamer's objective world is satyam for the dreamer. But when the dreamer wakes up and becomes the waker, both the internal subjective world as well as the objective world projected by the dreamer through his dream sense organs both become mithya from the point of view of the waker. A very important idea is being put forward. I hope you understand. Any questions?
Oh, Macharji, this is clear. So does that mean that the substratum for the dreamer is the waker's mind only? That is what we presume.
Yes.
The
This
consciousness
the
principle, the
essence
existence.
of the dreamer is the waker.
Yes. So if we
That,
extend it from the waker to the consciousness principle, I think that's the next part
that is
then.
the idea being conveyed. Therefore, from the waker's point of view, there is the Vyavaharika world which you see, and there is a Pratibhasika world which you see from the Paramartha Drishti, from the waker's, not from the waker's point of view, from the consciousness point of view, from the Paramarthika Drishti point of view, both the other realities, Vyavaharika as well as Pratibhasika, they get negated. The objective reality, which is the Jagrata Avastha, and the subjective reality, which is the Swapna Avastha, both are negated when it's looked at from the point of view of the consciousness principle. That is the example being conveyed in this Karika. It's an important Karika, so if you have understood, then we'll carry on. And I'll keep repeating that if you want to grasp the subtlest points of Vedanta properly, all that will appear in this Upanishad, in these Karikas, but it requires that you keep on continuously reversing. As long as the class is on, everything that we have talked about, right from chapter 1, Karika 1 to whatever we are doing, should be fresh in your mind. Okay, right. Now we look at the 10th Karika, chapter number 2. जाग्रद्वृत्तापि द्वन्तः
Jagrat Vritta
जागृत
Javapi
वृत्तापि द्वन्द्वः
Vantaha
चेतसा कल्पितं त्वसत्
Chetasa
चेतसा
Kalpitam
कल्पितं
Tvasat
वसत्
बहिश्चेतो गृहीतं सत्
Bahishcheto
बहिश्चेतो
Grihitam Sat
गृहीतं सत्
युक्तं वैतथ्यमेतयोः
Ayuktam
युक्तं
Vaitat Tayoho
वैतथ्यमेतयोः
Do you see the difference between this Karika and the last one?
स्वप्न and जागृत.
Yeah. So one is talking about Swapna Avastha and one is talking about Jagrata Avastha.
जागृत अवस्था.
So he is saying in the Jagrata Avastha also, Jagrat Vrittapi also, to antachetasaha kalpitam to asat. Whatever is projected inside you by the mind is mithya. However, bahishcheto grahitam sat. Whatever is grasped by your mind outside you, that is satyam. So this is the view of another philosopher. Okay. So he says, and then he says, yuktam vaitatyam etayoho, vaitatyam etayoho, etayoho, these two, which two, in the Jagrada Avastha, anything projected by the mind, and in the Jagrada Avastha, this object seen outside you, etayoho mithya. Both these are mithya only, yuktam. It is logical to accept, he says. Right? Now remember here, the what is being said in simple English, anything external to you is satyam, anything internal to you is mithya. This philosopher saying that this is the criteria for satyam mithya. Whatever is outside you is satyam, whatever is inside you is mithya. Now, when this statement is made, we should try to understand it properly. Remember, this is Gaudapada quoting another philosopher whom we don't accept. We don't accept this view that externality is the criteria for Satyam and Mithya. We don't accept, right? So when he says the dream world is inside, remember the word inside is a relative term. It is only from a particular standpoint. There is a frame of reference. Right. Now, when you say the statement, I am inside, supposing I make a statement to you, I am inside. Right. You call me up on the phone and say, where are you? I say, I'm inside. What are the various um, meaning that you can give the statement?
I'm inside a particular space which
Hmm.
has a name. For example, I'm inside a house, or
You're
I'm
inside the
inside a room.
house. I can say I'm inside the building also. I can
Inside
say
a
I'm
room.
inside the bedroom also. Right. So everything depends on the frame of reference. And in this statement, when this person is saying inside, what is the frame of reference?
The
It is
body.
the body, right? So in the dream, we are doing all transactions where? In the dream body. And therefore, from the dreamer's point of view, the waker's body is inside or outside?
Hmm.
Outside.
The waker's
Outside.
body is outside the dream.
Outside.
And
Yeah.
whatever is outside the dream cannot be used by the dreamer. Right? So the dreamer has a dream body, has a dream sense organ also, but the waker's body he is not simply aware of. And therefore, now if you say the dream body is the frame of reference, then now is the catch. It is easy to say that for the dreamer, the waker's body is outside the dream, right? Now, if you are using the dream body, if you're using the dream body as the frame of reference, the dreamer's world, the Swapna Prapancha is outside or inside the dreamer's body?
Inside.
Out- Outside.
Outside.
Outside. The dreamer's
Ha.
body is in the
Ha.
dream
Ha.
world.
Yes. Yes.
And therefore, from the dreamer's body's frame of reference, the Swapna Prapancha, the dream world is outside him. Therefore, and during the dream, everything you see as outside you is very much in the dream because you don't know that you are dreaming, right? The dream is understood as a dream when you wake up. Therefore, for the dreamer, the dream world is real because it is outside his body. But from, in using this argument, the dreamer's inside thoughts are mithya. He's using the argument of external things are Satyam, internal things are Mithya. So from the dreamer's body point of view, anything which is subjective within the dream mind is Mithya. But outside the dream mind, remember the dream prapancha, not the Jagrata Avastha. The dream prapancha, the dream world is outside the dreamer's body. But when the dreamer wakes up, the frame of reference shifts from the dreamer's body because the dreamer's body is no longer available when the dreamer wakes up. The reference shifts to the waking body, Jagrat body. From the point of view of the Jagrat body, the dream world is inside it. From the point of view of the dreamer's body, the dream world was outside. Right? So, point being made is from the dreamer's standpoint, the dream prapancha, dream world was outside and was satyam. But from the waker's standpoint, that same dream world which was outside for the dreamer and therefore satyam is inside for the waker and therefore mithya. Do you follow the argument?
Yes,
Yes,
Acharya.
Acharya. Got it.
Therefore, Gaudapada is saying here that same logic you apply to the waking world also, to Jagrat Prapancha also, as long as you are looking at the world from the standpoint of your physical body, your Jagrat physical body, the waker's physical body, you will have to say that the Jagrat Prapancha, the waking world, is outside me and therefore it is real. And you will have to say that whatever I dream is inside me and therefore it is mithya. But when I realize that I am not the body, that I am the Atma, from the point of view of the Atma, the waker's world is within me and therefore mithya. Therefore, Gaudapada says here the condition of externality as satyam and internality as mithya, you have to modify it by saying relative reality. Right? Therefore, in Karika 9, we saw the utility part. In Karika 10, we saw the externality part. Both these definitions, Gaudapada is saying, are not really correct. They have to be rejected.
Oh, Acharya.
Yes.
So, when I'm saying that from the waker's standpoint, there is an external world and an internal world. So, if we extend it to Virat there, so from standpoint of the Virat, therefore, the waker's body and whatever is happening in the waker's mind becomes internal from that standpoint. How is that how we move about this?
No, Virat is basically nothing but the gross physical world.
Gross physical world of Ishvara as an entity, if we
No,
want to say.
it is your gross physical world.
Acharya, but from the waker's standpoint, if we are saying dream is from the waker's body standpoint, it is mithya.
Yes,
Both the external world of the dreamer and the
correct.
internal is mithya. So if I now extend to a higher level, as a waker's body, it is my body, which is the spatial limitation. If I move from the same.
Your body is spatially limited, yes, but you are able to see the whole world. You are able to see the sun and the moon and the stars and the galaxies. That is Virat. From your point of view, Virat is the external world, not just the planet Earth.
Yes. So Virat is the external word. So if I, with the same logic, if I say from the physical body here, the waker's body, inside the Virat, this is where I exist. The waker is a part of the internal of the Virat, right? That is what we are saying. If we move to a
Vicar
higher level.
is a resident of Virat. Yes.
So Therefore, um, Ishvara, as we say, one
Oh,
who
don't
is
jump to Ishvara as yet. Don't jump to Ishvara
okay.
as yet. First, understand this argument. For you, Virat is the external world. Your dream world is the internal world. For you, as a waker, from the standpoint of view of your body, the dream world is Mithya, the external world is Satyam. Once having got that, then you shift to Ishvara or to Atma. And we know now that in Atma, everything exists inside. And therefore, from the point of view of Atma, whatever is inside is Mithya only. The same criteria we are taking. From the point of view of Atma, everything is inside only. So, what is being said here is that when you say inside, make sure you understand it is relative only, relatively inside, depending upon which frame of reference you are using. So
Yes, sir.
inside for the dreamer is different from inside for the waker. The inside for the waker is different from the inside for the Atma or for Ishvara.
Yes, sir.
That is the idea conveyed. Okay. Now let us look at Karika number 11. We will chant. Ubhayorapi vaithatyam
उभयोरपि वैथत्यम्
vedanam sthanayoryadi
भेदानां स्थानयोर्यदि
स्थानयोर्यदि
ka etan budhyate vedan
क एतान्
कलेषां
बुध्यते
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 भेदान्
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 को वै तेषां विकल्पकः
को वै
को वै
वै
तेषां
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 विकल्पकः
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 Now, Ubhayoropi of both those two, Vaithatyam Vedanam Sthanayoho Yadi. If the Mithyatvam of the objects in both the avasthas is to be accepted, then this fellow asks, Kaha etan buddhyate Vedan? Who is the one who is the experiencer of both these set of objects? And ko vai tesham vikalpakaha, who indeed is the creator of both these avasthas. So this is a question by a opponent, Purva Pakshi. So what is he saying? Supposing I accept your view that Satya, that external world and internal world criteria, I accept, and I say that both are mithya, I accept. Then I have to ask you, who is the creator of this mithya? Who is projecting this mithya? Why is that question important? Because whoever is projecting the mithya must be outside or inside the mithya.
Outside.
Right? It's a very important question because if you are saying the dreamer's external world is Satyam, and then you say now it is mithya, he's asking you, who is the dreamer? The dreamer must be outside the extreme world. So he's saying, whoever projects this mithya must be outside the mithya. And also, another question, who is the experiencer of this mithya? Because he must also be outside the mithya. And therefore he says, Kovai Tesham Vikalpakaha. Vikalpakaha here means projection. Who is the one who is projecting both these avasthas? They are both mithya. So let us try to understand. In Swapna avastha, who is the, when you take Swapna avastha, who is the projector of the dream?
Waker.
The waker. And
वेको
since the waker is the projector, the creator of the dream world, who is the one who experiences? So this fellow says the waker alone experiences the dream. Okay. Which is true also. Because when you say, I had a dream. When you say I, that you are not going to say I, the dreamer, had a dream, right? You say I am having a dream. I refers to you. So this Purva Pakshi is saying that the projector and the waker They are the same. And therefore, extended argument. In Jagrada Avastha, who is the creator and the experiencer? If you are going to take the example of Mithya, dream world, you are saying the waker is outside the dream world. Therefore, the waker alone projects the dream world and experiences the dream world. If you extend that to Jagrada Avastha, and then you say that Jagrada Avastha is Mithya, obviously the experiencer must be outside time and space. Right? Because if he is seeing everything as relative, what is absolute reality? That's the question. And therefore, whatever is discovered to be falling within time and space, it must be mithya. What then is satyam? So, this is the question asked. Everything that you experience has to be mithya. The experiencer and the projector, they have to be satyam. What then is the satyam? That is the question being asked in this karika. And therefore, now we'll go to the next karika and see what is being said there. So, karika number 12. कल्पयति आत्मानात्मा कल्पयति आत्मनात्मान
कल्पयति
कल्पयति
यात्मायात्मना
आत्मना
आत्मदेव स्वमायया
आत्मदेव
आत्मदेव
मायया
मायया
स एव बुध्यते भेदान्
स एव
एव
बुध्यते
बुध्यते
भेदान्
वेदान्
इति वेदान्त निश्चयः.
इति
वेदान्तनिश्चयः.
वेदान्तनिश्चयः.
Okay. So this is the answer. He says Atma Devaha. So Devaha here refers to the effulgent principle, the self-revealing principle. So the self-revealing Atma Kalpayati Atmanam Atmanatmanam. Kalpayati Atmanatmanam Swamayaya. The self-revealing Atma Kalpayati projects what? Atmanam projects itself the Atma. How? Atmana. So Atmanam Atmana is the breakup of that particular word. Kalpayati Atmanam Atmana projects itself by itself. Right? Kalpayati Atmanam Atmana. How? With the help of what? Swa Maya. Using its own Maya. And therefore he says, Sa eva. That same self-revealing Atma, Buddhyate Bhedan, experiences the objects, the Mithya objects. So word Bhedan here has to be taken as objects, experiences the Mithya objects. Iti Vedanta Nishchayaha. This is the conclusion of Vedanta. Vedanta says so. A small note here, Somaya indicates what? Atma kalpayati swamayaya. What does it indicate? Is this Atma with upadhi or without upadhi?
without upadhi, with its own maya. So
And is Maya upadhi or not?
उपाधि.
yes,
Therefore, is it with
So has
upadhi or without
upadhi.
upadhi?
With upadhi.
Remember that
Swamaya.
nirupadika Maya, Atma, sorry, nirupadika Atma. Atma not having upadhi, pure Atma is akarta, abhokta. Cannot create, cannot experience. So here, Swamaya Atma indicates what? Which entity?
so
Pardon?
What is the entity being pointed out by the use of the word Atma Swamayaya?
Saguna Brahman.
Up,
Saguna Brahman.
Upadhi.
Saguna Brahman Ishvara. Okay. So Atma projects Jagrat Prapancha using Maya Shakti. That same Atma projects Swapna Prapancha using what Shakti?
Nidra Shakti.
Nidra Shakti. So Nidra Shakti is in relation to the Jiva. Maya Shakti is in relation to Ishvara. Remember that because you are projecting Jagrada Avastha, you cannot be Jiva. Therefore, Atma projects Jagrat Prapancha using Maya Shakti. Atma projects Swapna Prapancha using Nidra Shakti. That's why it says Swamaya, with its own Maya, without requiring any other instrument of karma, which are called Karakas. No Karakas required. And therefore, Atma experiences the object through the Maya, which is the mind. And Shankara says this Atma is outside time and space. And even though it is outside time and space, he gives a very interesting idea here. Atma is outside time and space, but nevertheless, it pervades entire time and space. How will you understand that?
Beyond the limitations of time and space.
Correct.
Time and space and Maya are all within the Atma itself.
You can say that, but
Maya.
you can take the example of the waker in the dream. Is the waker outside the dream? Yes.
Yes.
Does the waker pervade the dreamer?
Yes, as the consciousness and existence principle.
And if it is pervading the dreamer, then it is also pervading the dream world. That is the example to be taken. The waker is outside the dream, but he still pervades the dreamer and the dream world. Atma is outside Jagrat Prapancha, but nevertheless, it pervades time and space. It pervades Jagrat Prapancha. It pervades all the objects in Jagrat Prapancha. Why? Sat Chitta Ananda. The very principle, right? With and the entire Jagrat Prapancha is mithya, dependent upon that Atma. Therefore, pervasion has to be there. Therefore, the only absolute reality in this whole story is who? I, the observer, the consciousness principle. Because I am present in all the three states. As Vishwa, I am a relatively real entity. As Tajasa, I am a relatively real entity. As Pragnya, I am relatively real. But as Turiam, I am the consciousness principle not identified with any of the bodies. And when I look at myself from that viewpoint, free of all the three bodies, that is I, the consciousness principle. The relative reality comes and goes, is passing, it is changing. Only I am the consciousness principle, only I am permanent. And therefore, whenever I use the word I have to consciously be very careful what I mean. If I'm looking at myself from my body standpoint, I'm Vishwa. As Vishwa, I cannot be Satyam, total Satyam, because I'm temporary. If I'm looking upon myself as Tajasa, I am temporary. But when I look at myself as Atma, without body mind identification, that is the real I. And that consciousness we have defined so many times. Not a part, not a property, independent principle, pervading and blessing the body, not limited by boundaries of the body, continues to be there even the body medium, even when the body medium is not functional. Therefore, I am neither Vishwa, Tajasa, not even Pragya. I am Turiam, the absolute reality alone. When I function as Vishwa, the waker, I am bound by the constraints of time and space. Jagradavastha, time and space. When I function as Taijasa, the dreamer, I am bound by dream time and space constraints. If I go to another loka and take on, let us say, Indra's body, I have another set of time and space constraints. Every loka, every body brings with it its own time and space constraints. Kala, Desha, Parichinnatvam it brings. I am free when I am without a body, without a loka. There is neither time, there is neither no space. I am not located in time and space. In fact, time and space itself are located in me. In that I, there is no duality of the knower and the known. And when, as that Atma, as that Brahman, I choose to operate through Maya, then I am called Karana Ishvara. That Karana Ishvara at the Samashti level, at the universal level, if you translate that into the individual, the Vyashti level, I am called Prajna. So as Prajna Ishvara, I create prapanchas. As Karana Ishvara, I create prapanchas. And therefore, Vishwa and Tajasa are my own projections. When I handle Maya at Vyashti level, I am Prajna. When I handle Maya at Samashti level, I am Antaryami, I am Ishvara. But when I put aside that connection with Maya, I am Turya. How to know this me, the essential me without a body mind complex? So there is a problem there because the moment I try to know, which means I try to become Pramata, the knower, I need a Pramanam. And whatever I know will become Pramayam. And that Pramayam known with the Pramanam by the Pramata, is it total reality or is it absolute reality? It is an experience. And therefore it is relative reality only. Then what to do? Iti Vedanta Nishchayaha. To know this Turiam, don't try to experience. Vedanta tells you that you are the consciousness principle. When you know this without looking at yourself as a knower, remember that alone is Turiya. Just like you continue to be human being, whether you are a student, teacher, mother, father, you are a human being. Any role you undertake cannot displace your human status. Similarly, I am Turyam all the time. Even when Vishwa comes and goes, when Tajasa comes and goes, when Prajna comes and goes, I alone am Turyam. Okay. Any questions?
So, Om Acharyaji, if we extend this at the macrocosmic level, I mean, I think it's clear that I am beyond Virat, Hiranyagarbha, and Antaryami. That's the same Turyam. So that is, okay.
Correct. So you are not Virat, you are not Hiranyagarbha, you are not Antarya. They are all dependent upon you. That is the understanding that I must have. That is what Gaudapada is saying. Okay. Now we look at verse number 13. Let us chant. Vikarotyaparaन् bhavan
विकरोत्य परान् भावान्
antaschitte vyavasthitan
अन्तश्चित्ते व्यवस्थितान्
niyatamsha bhaishchittah
नियतांश्च
Ah,
बहिश्चित्तः
evam kalpayate prabhuः.
evam
एवं
kalpayate
कल्पयते
prabhuः.
प्रभुः.
You take the word Prabhu from the last line and then you join it in the first line. Prabhu vikaroti aparan bhavan. Abhavan is basically the objects. Aparan means not real, so dream objects over here. Therefore, Prabhu vikaroti aparan bhavan. Atma projects all those dream objects. Antas chitte vyavasthitan, which are present in your antakarana. Right? So, whatever is projected by the Atma, they are nothing but thoughts in your mind, which in the dream appears as objects. Evam kalpayate. In the same manner, Prabhu, the Atma, niyatamscha bahischittam evam. It projects the external objects of the Jagrada Avastha with the outward mind. Right? Your mind, that Prabhu's mind turns outwards and therefore it projects the Jagrada Avastha. This is the answer to how do I create the world. So I am Turiam, I am Brahman, Atma, but with Maya Shakti, I create two worlds. That's what Gaudapada is saying. I create two worlds always. The external world, which I know as Jagrada Avastha, which I think is real, and the internal world of dream, Swapna Avastha, which I think is real, unreal. What he says, for both the world, what is used? The only instrument used is the Antakara, the mind. And how do I know that mind is creator of both the worlds? What is the proof? Because when I go into Sushupti Avastha and the mind is resolved, there is neither the dream world available to me nor the Jagrat world available to me. Right? Only when the mind is functional, these two worlds, they will come into being. How do I operate the mind? That is being said. When the mind is introverted, when the sense organs are not operating, external sense organs are not operating, what happens? The internal vasanas in the mind are projected, are activated to get the dream world. Right? It's a very important idea. A mind which is predominantly driven by the vasana, the internal thoughts, that mind is projecting the dream world. When the mind is functioning through the sense organs, then it is projecting the external world, Jagrat Avastha. So when vasanas are dormant, sense organs are active. When sense organs are dormant, vasanas are dormant. Right? Sense organs are dominant when vasanas are dormant. Similarly, vasanas are predominant when sense organs are dormant. The common observer for both the worlds is what? I the Turiam, I the Chaitanya. Because I illuminate both the worlds, the dream world as well as the external world. If I remain as the illuminator only, as that consciousness principle because of which both Swapna Avastha and Jagrata Avastha are known, then I am Brahman, then I am Atma, then I am Turiam. But the moment I identify with one of these worlds, I become Tejasa or Vishwa. I become happy, I become unhappy, I become father, I become mother, and so on. Both the dream and the waking worlds, it is said here, are therefore created by one and the same Atma. Of course, with the help of Maya. Okay, any questions? This is to remove the idea that Jiva creating the dream world is different from Atma creating the external universe. Jivo Brahmaiva
Brahmaiva
Aparaha.
Microcosm and macrocosm are the same, which are
I
created
wouldn't
by
say
Atma.
microcosm and macrocosm are the
Ha,
same, because then
ha.
you talk about the anatma also.
Okay. So from
Consciousness principle of the Vyashti Jiva is the same as the consciousness principle of
yes,
Samashti.
yes. Thank you. Arjun.
Okay, one more we will do for today. Verse number 14. Chitta kala hiyentastu
Chitta kala hi entastu
Chittakaalahientastu
kalascha ye bahihi
dvayakalascha ye
Yakalasyayevahi
bahihi
kalpita eva te sarve
Kalpita
kalpita
eva te
eva
Kalpita
te
sarve
sarve
shesho nanya hetukaha.
Shesho
shesho nanya hetukaha
Sheshonayahetukaः
Ye antastu. Ye that. Antastu. That which is experienced inside. Antaha. Te antaha. So that can break up that as tu. Ye antaha. What? That antaha. Which is experienced inside. Chittakala. He is subjective. Right? And is experienced only when that particular memory is there. Chittakala. He. However, Bahihi, ye bahihi, whatever is experienced outside, dvayakalascha, has two time frames. So what is being said? What is experienced inside is subjective because it is experienced only as long as that experience lasts. But what is experienced outside, dvayakalaha, two time frames. What are the two time frames? That object exists when I perceive it, when I experience it. That object continues to exist when I do not perceive it. Right? Your car, which you have parked outside, it continues to exist when you are looking at it, when you are dreaming about it. But when you are not experiencing it, in Sushupti Avastha, does the car exist or not? It does.
Yes.
It is still outside. So there are two time frames. The car continues to exist, and therefore Vishesha na anya hetuka. There is no other difference. The difference is only that one exists when I see it only, one exists when I do not see it. The dream car exists only during the dream, but my Jagradavastha car, it exists not only when I am aware of it, but in my Sushupti Avastha also, the real car exists. The two cars have no other difference. Sarvete kalpita eva. Both are projections only, right? What are the reasons? There are two reasons. One is because you see them, and another is because they are not eternal. So both are creations, right? Now, if you take away from the cars and come back to the worlds, so one is the your dream world, and one is the external world. The dream world is created by whom? Jiva or Ishvara?
Jiva.
Jiva. And the Jagrada Avastha is created by whom? Jiva or Ishvara?
Ishvara.
Therefore, one is Jiva Srishti, Jiva's creation. One is Ishvara Srishti. But Gaudapada says, applied to criteria. Are they experienced? Number one. Whatever is experienced has to be mithya. Because what is the reason? Why do we say that whatever is experienced has to be mithya?
Because it keeps changing, it comes and goes.
It is dependent on the observer.
Yeah, yeah.
Dependent on the observer. Whatever experienced is experienced by the experiencer. Only experiencer is Satyam. Everything is Mithya. Therefore, this dream world is experienced by Jiva, the dream world, the real world is also experienced by Jiva. One is Jiva Srishti, one is Ishvara Srishti. Both are experienced, therefore both are mithya. And the second reason is because they are not eternal. Anityatva. So because they are anitya, the Jiva Srishti, the dream world is anitya because it comes and goes. The Jagrata Avastha is also anitya because there's a cycle of creation. There are two reasons. Experiencing these two worlds and the fact that they are both anityam. So he says that this is the definition and therefore both are mithya. The experienced world is mithya, the dream world is also mithya. So this is a third, idea being expressed. He is defining reality, a philosopher. So he says whatever has got objective existence is real, and whatever has got subjective existence is unreal. Therefore, subjective existence is what? Mithya, dependent on me, the subject. Objective existence is what? Not dependent upon me, the subject. It exists whether I see it or not. Like the car outside my house, it does not suddenly come into being when I look at it. What is subjective experience? A dream, right? The dream, somebody calls you and says, "Oh, I want to give you $1 million. Will you come to the airport?" And then you wake up. Will you still take a flight? No. Or cab to the airport? No. Right. Therefore, that entire $1 million of rupees, it existed in your dream. It had a subjective experience. And he says here that one does not see the subjective experience of the dream being converted into objective existence in Jagradavastha. And therefore, this philosopher says dream is unreal because it does not have an objective experience. It is dependent upon me. But this world is real because the world is not dependent upon me. Right? What is wrong with this definition? The dream world is known as a subjective reality only after waking up. In the dream world, the dreamer thinks of the dream objects and the dream world as very much real. In the dream world, I cannot get the idea that I am projecting the dream. So, dream world has got subjective existence only from the point of view of the waker. Similarly, Jagat Prapancha has got objective existence only from the point of view of one who is in this world. Therefore, he says this definition is also relative in nature. Te sarve kalpita eva. On waking up, both the internal world and the external world of the dream are proved to be mithya only. Therefore, visheshaha na anna hetukaha, the idea of internality and externality, deciding whether something is satyam or mithya, they are not correct. They are both incorrect. So Gaudapada says, when you get jnanam also, atmajnanam also, similarly, the internal world as well as the external world, you will find that both are mithya. Therefore, the two ideas presented here by the philosopher are also not acceptable. So these few karikas, we are seeing different definitions of what is satyam and what is mithya, and Gaudapada is refuting them in a few words. Why they are not? Because in this case, at least, it depends upon who is the waker and who is the dream. Relative satyam and relative mithya really cannot take that as absolute satyam and absolute mithya. So with this, we'll stop for today. Any questions?
So, Om Acharya ji, so that means from the standpoint, the conclusion is from the standpoint of Turyam, both the Vyashti and Samashti are mithya.
From the standpoint of Turian, yes. And only two things exist: the world and Ishvara, right? So from the point, look at the overall thing. Jiva Jagat Ishvara is from the point of view of the Jiva. From the point of Ishvara, there is the Ishvara and there is the Jagat. The point of Atma, nothing is there. Only Atma is there.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your patience. And I will again ask you, please continue to revise them for the next class. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat
Purnat
Purnamudachyate
mudachyate
Purnasya
Purnasya
Purnamada
Purnamidaya
Purnamevavasishyate
Purnamevavasishyate Om
Shanti
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 Shanti,
Shanti
Shanti,
Shanti
Shanti.
Hari
Om
Om
Tat Sat Om
Om Tat Sat
Shivaya. Thank
Om
you for your
Namah
attention.
Shivaya.
Thank you, Acharya.
Thank you, Acharya Ji.